guest today is Jonathan Ramgopal. Jonathan is the director of Vocal Studio Orpheus, as well as the head of music for Trinity College in the Middle East. He's also a choir director. His senior school choir was the winner of Choir Fest Middle East 2019 at the Dubai Opera. In addition, he is also a composer who has scored professional and amateur school theatre productions like Fiddler on the Roof and Phantom of the Opera. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Nelson.
And welcome to the podcast of the Young Talent Music Competition.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we begin, let me thank you for being with us since 2019, since the inception of the competition, the first edition. And you've been so supportive. You've been one of our judges, a very eminent judge, and also you've sponsored us in so many ways with your with the Trinity, with the Vocal Studio Orpheus. And yes, thanks so much for all this. Yeah, what have you seen in all the participants that we've had? Like, you know, in terms of their performances, their creativity, their talents, what have you seen, from our participants?
So I have to say it's been an absolute pleasure. From the time you first called me in, I don't remember which month it was in 2019. And I still remember going to a couple of schools with you, judging competitions over there. Or not the competition, but taking part in those auditions and listening to the kids sing and play. And from what it seemed, it looked like you were going to schools and looking at the talent that was there and sort of bringing them together, giving them a platform. And fast forwarding to what I've seen last year, it's students who, or I'd rather say performers, kids, who seem like they were used to being on big stages. So clearly the competition's attracting top talent in the region, which works on both levels. You want to be catering to the kids who really want that competition to have their skills shine. Plus also, there were some kids from the last one that looked like they'd just been practicing for about 6 months, but they still wanted to get up on stage. And the fact that your competition across the board is so inclusive is something that I really like and sort of resonates with me as an educator, as a performer, and as a friend. Friends, right? No, that really resonates with me. And this is something that, both on a personal level and as a company at Orpheus, we've decided to throw our weight behind, because what you're doing here is fantastic. Giving kids a platform, giving them stage time, and just bringing together. And I think cross-pollination is always brilliant, where the classical kids are listening to the kids who play rock and pop, to the kids who play, I've heard Indian Carnatic music at your competition, alongside Chopin, which is brilliant. And so I'm just really thrilled to be a part of this lovely process that you've got going.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jonathan. So much I appreciate in what you've said about us. And the next is, I would like to know, now going forward, as to what would, as a judge, what you would like to see when you're sitting there, assessing the candidates as they come there and they perform on stage. What would you like to see in them, which maybe, may not be existing at the moment, but possibly, how would you like to see them?
I think every child is, this might sound like a bit of a cliche, but I think every child is innately an artist. And when they get on stage, sometimes they're dealing with a little bit of nervousness, they're dealing with a little bit of stage fright. I can see them go into shells sometimes, and especially in the auditions that you have leading up to the finals, because in the finals it's more of a, I wouldn't call it an extremely formal atmosphere, but they're on stage, they're they're in their best outfits, and they've got the lights on them, they've got the amazing sound, and they're sitting there in front of the judges, and that's a different atmosphere, that's a different stage of the competition. But earlier on, when the auditions are a little more intimate, it's always been my goal as a judge to speak to them, to crack a joke, to make them feel a little more comfortable in what they're doing. And I think the more competitions we see, the more auditions that kids show up for, is every time a kid gets up on stage is a step towards being more comfortable with who they are as a performer. And I think that's super important. And I'd love to explore ways with you as somebody who sponsors your competition plus a friend. I'd love to see ways that we can both work together to bring that about, to get kids more comfortable with their instruments, more comfortable with themselves, with the music they listen to, more expressive. And I think that's super important going forward. I'd love to see your competition grow. Personally, I'd love to see it become, let's say, right now it's at the UAE level, but I'd love to see it become a Middle East thing. Inviting students from different countries would be amazing. Because who knows what talent you have across the region. Yes, you get to see the amazing talent that's predominantly here in Dubai, and of course you've got Abu Dhabi and Sharjah as well, given that you're based out of Dubai currently. But with today's technology and everything that we have at our disposal, I don't see why it can become a larger than just the UAE kind of competition.
So what do you think that we should do to, maybe get us to that kind of level? Because we do have the talent here as good as from any part of the world. We have wonderful talent, and of course we have UAE is a country. It's a very advanced country. Monetarily and in all ways we are quite advanced. So we have the resources. So what do you think? That we should do, which we lack, and we should try to look at to get us there to that level. Of course, right now we have people all within the community. It's a very small kind of community where we are all pulling our efforts, like you all guys have helped us and all. But now taking it to the next level, what do you think we should be doing?
I think, honestly, the easiest thing to say would be it's just a matter of getting the word out there. But there's so much that goes into that, right? I think it's really important to sort of have as many, perhaps look at the barriers to entry, and right now where are your auditions being held? Is it accessible to everyone? And I know they're being held across Dubai and Sharjah, and you make it as accommodating for everyone who signs up for the competition to show up and audition at a location that's very convenient to them. So I think you've actively sort of worked to reduce barriers of entry for your competition. But where I think there's more to be gained is, and I remember during the pandemic you went online for a bit. So maybe people who can send in their entries, if they can't make it, can send in their entries via video or get on a Zoom call or maybe something like that. Now, I don't know how you probably be able to work that. It might be really hard. Maybe throwing a spoke into your wheel over here, and I don't mean to. But yes, I think there's definitely something to be said for getting the word out there, because this, from what I know, this is and it's not a cutthroat competition. It's a fun competition. It's a friendly competition, and it's sort of kid centric and it's kid targeted, where the kids are the stars, and everybody sort of comes around to celebrate that, to celebrate their music. Yes, not everybody wins, but it is a winning process, and I think the more we can get the word, whatever I can do to help you get the word out there, because the parents who are the ultimate stakeholders would love to see their children on stage at such a lovely competition like this. Your Young Talent Music, and I think you've aptly named it Young Talent Music Competition, because that's what you're celebrating at the end of the day. Yeah, so I think it's getting the word out there, and maybe I think one of the things that you've done, which I really like, is you have an ambassador for the competition. But the ambassador is not an adult. It's not somebody who's already playing music. It's one of the kids who've won the competition, or it's the kid who's won the last year's. I don't know how you're doing it, but I think that is big in my books. That you have kids who are the stars of the show.
Yeah, that's absolutely right what you're saying, and you guys are the ones who have helped us, in getting these people, on board, motivating them, inspiring them to, join up with the competition, and I mean, once again, thanks a lot to you and your team, the Vocal Studio Orpheus. You all have been really wonderful in really supporting us in so many ways. It's in more than one. It's like you've, besides the judges, and you'll have even done the songs, the theme songs. You have performed with your group, with your wonderful choir group, and your pop group also. So thanks, Jonathan, for being with us here this evening, and we look forward to your support right through, being with us, rather, not your support, just your support, but being with us through this journey, because I call it more of a journey rather than a destination. So we are starting the entire journey right now until the Jan, where we'll have the finish line, the finals, and of course also going forward we need to work together, and
100%.
And we've been doing it since so many years, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nelson. I thank you once again, and I know it. I believe this. It takes a village to raise a child, and to bring out the inner child in all of us, to bring out that music or that drama in everyone. I think it's very important for people like you and me to work together. People within, like you say, the small community, to work together and sort of afford kids every last chance they can to get on stage and to showcase their talents. And so thank you for having me.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks once again. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nelson.
Thank you.
Thank you.